Littlebranch Farm is a division of Littlebranch Enterprises that my wife and I started 10 years ago, just purely out of coincidence. We had just completed building our log home, and our daughter became engaged to a wonderful young man. And my wife came to me and she said, "Kelly, can you build some of the furniture we see in these log home magazines to decorate for the wedding?" And I said, "Sure," because I don't say I can't do anything. Went down to a good friend of mine who has some log furniture that his dad had built for him when him and his wife got married. I went down and looked at it and I said, "No problem." I come back to my place, go down in the woods, actually where my studio is at now, picked up a menagerie of small hardwood logs. Some of them were pretty rough and rotted and decaying. Brought them up to my basement, which is actually where my company started at, was in my basement. And we developed a bench. I went through and cut it and built it and formed it out. Well, a few days later, I was at my full-time job at that present time as a paramedic in Harris County, Georgia. And my partner had brought in some woodworking magazines at that day. And I was flipping through them and looking, and I found a tenon cutter in there. Out of the tenon cutters that I found, I decided to go ahead and order one. I ordered a couple in. I had no tools whatsoever. I thought this would make my job go a little bit faster and easier, because the first bench had taken a little longer, having to cut and form everything by hand. We did the wedding, had about 20 pieces for the wedding, gave away some of the pieces and sold some. A really good friend of mine at that present time talked to me about going to a craft show. It was too late to get into the craft show, but he gave me an inside track in there because he knew the owner of the show that was running the show. We did the show. I went and looked like the Beverly Hillbillies. At about 20, 30 pieces there, we sold every piece. Went back that fall and continued on. 10 years later, we have evolved from very primitive, basic things to very complex, where we go in and we do the whole house. Littlebranch came from, we have a piece of property where our home is at, and there's a creek that runs through that property, and the name of that creek is Littlebranch. I grew up on a little farm in Kuna, Idaho, and I always wanted a farm, so that's where the farm came from. 10 years, we have developed basic, simple furniture and continuing to hone and develop my skills. Prior to doing this, I had no woodworking knowledge, no formal training in woodworking at all. Everything that I have learned and done has been watching other TV shows, by reading about it, and just pure hands-on experience. I've had several customers and people that have just passed by my path, either by email or phone calls or at the trade shows that I go to, and just said, "Kelly, how do you do this? Can you tell me, give me basic ideas or steps? What do I need to do? What kind of tools do I need? What is the process from point A to point B? Where do you find your wood?" I want to take the basic, what I have here in my knowledge base, and pass it on here. Number one, to develop relationships. Relationship is the foundation of this company. The money side and the business side is secondary. The whole purpose of Littlebranch is relationship, and to pass on the little bit of knowledge that I have, and others can grow from that.